Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Write with me. Today we'll be looking at another lesson on line graph essay. In today's lesson, we'll look at some important information what you need to know about writing a line graph. We'll also see the structure of the line graph. I'll be sharing with you two options and you can opt for whichever is easy for you. Then we'll look at how to write an introduction and overview to the line graph essay. And finally, I'll share with you how to describe the key details looking at the graph. So, without any further delays, let's get started. Line graph essay can be written in two different ways. Actually, there are many ways of writing the essay, but for your convenience, I'm sharing with you the two most common structures which you can use in your level 4 writing, as well as these essay structures can be used in the IELTS writing. Option 1, you can write the essay in about 4 paragraphs. Paragraph 1 is introduction, paragraph 2 is overview, and paragraph 3 and 4 will have the main body. Whereas in option 2, you will write only 3 paragraphs. Paragraph 1 will have introduction and overview together, and paragraph 2 and 3 will have the main body. I suggest you to go for option 2 when you are writing your level 4 exams. Now let's look at how to write an introduction. But before we begin writing the introduction, you need to first read the question and understand it. In the exam also, whenever you are presented with this task, I suggest you to spend some time looking at the question carefully, and then you can begin writing. Now here the question says the graph below shows the consumption of fish and different kinds of meat in a European country between 1974 and 2004. So there will be a graph which shows the consumption of fish and different kinds of meat in a European country, and the time period is 1974 and 2004. To write the introduction, you are required to paraphrase the question. Let's see how we can paraphrase the question. Here you can see the changes which we made to the question by paraphrasing it. The graph below was given in the question and we changed it to the line graph. We gave the name of the graph which was not there in the question. The question did not mention if it is a line graph, a bar chart, a pie chart, or a table. So, to paraphrase it, we have included here the name of the graph, and instead of the graph below, we changed it to the line graph. Then the question says shows. Now we can change this verb to illustrates, presents, depicts, gives information, compares, describes, examines, anything. You can use it here in place of shows. You can basically use the synonyms of the verb shows in place of it. Then the question says the consumption of fish and different kinds of meat in a European country. Now the consumption means usage, using, eating. So we can change it to the amount or the quantity of fish and different kinds of meats. Here kinds can be changed to types. And instead of consumption, we are changing it to eaten. The amount or quantity of fish and different types of meat eaten. In the question, it is given between 1974 and 2004. Whenever it is given between and, you can change it to from to. And if in the question from or to is given, change it to between and. Okay. So here in the question between 1974 and 2004 is given. When you paraphrase it, change it to from 1974 to 2004. So this is how you can paraphrase. Now we haven't changed the words fish and meat, because there are no synonyms where which can replace this with. So it is better to keep these words as it is instead of trying to bring in their synonyms also, and then the meaning will change or it will grammatically be wrong. So it's better not to try to change each and every word. Some words you can leave it as it is without making any changes to it, because when you paraphrase, your main aim should be to change some words, but it should not change the meaning. So the changes which we have made here, that will not change the meaning of your question. Now let's look at how to write the overview. In order to write the overview, you need to keep in mind three important things. The first thing is you need to check the overall trend in the graph. How to do that? I'll show you in the next slide. You must write your overview in 1 to 3 sentences and not more than that, because it is only a 150-word essay. So you should not spend too much of time in writing the introduction, because you need to again cover the other important features also of the graph. So make sure your overview is just 1 to 3 sentences long. And the most important thing, there should be no dates, no numbers, and no percentages in your overview. Do not write any date, any number, or any percentage in the overview. Now let's see how to write the overview. Look at the map here, the graph here, sorry. Look at the graph. The graph says fish and meat consumption. In the previous lesson where I taught you the types of complex sentences, I told that the title of the graph will be given on the top. And this one, fish and meat consumption, is the title of the graph. The line with blue dots, the plain line, shows fish consumption, whereas the dotted broken dots shows the consumption of meat. Now look at the line for the fish, consumption of fish, and see whether it is going up or going down overall from 1974 to 2004. Observe carefully if the consumption of fish is increasing or decreasing. It is obviously decreasing, because in 1974 it was around 21, and when you look at it at 2004, it is between 0 to 5, around 5. So it is definitely decreasing. Now look at the line for the meat, the trend for the meat consumption. Is it going up or down? It's going up. In 1974, the consumption of meat was approximately 22 grams. Now, when you look at it at 2004, it is 60. There's quite a lot of difference from 1974 to 2004. So, it is obviously increasing. Now, in this graph, you have two trends. One trend is increasing, another trend is decreasing. So there are two opposite trends, increasing and decreasing. And the overall, if you look at it, the overall consumption of fish is decreasing, overall consumption of meat is increasing. Let's see how to write the overview for this. Whenever you write the overview, you must begin your sentence with the word overall. Don't forget to put a comma there. Overall, it can be seen that the amount of fish eaten by people in a European country. Now, this thing, amount of fish eaten by people in a European country, is your title, which is given in the question. Fish consumption by people in European country was there. You are changing it to amount of fish eaten by people in a European country. What happened to fish? Decreased. So instead of decreased, go for its synonym, which is dropped. Now how it decreased? 20 to 5. So slowly it came down. So dropped steadily. Full stop. Now you need to write the overview for another trend, which is meat. Now if fish is also increasing, meat is also increasing, you will use the word similarly or the same as. But here in the graph, you see that the consumption of fish is decreasing, whereas the consumption of meat is increasing. So the trends are opposite. When there are opposite trends, you can use the words whereas, however, while, in contrast, on the other hand, the words like that. So here I have used in the word whereas, comma. Always with the discourse markers, put a comma. The consumption of meat experienced a dramatic rise. Why we are saying dramatic rise? Because from around 22 to 16, it's really a dramatic change, big change. That's why we have used the word dramatic rise over the given period. Now, when you observe these sentences, the first sentence of the overview is followed using the first structure: subject, verb, adverb. The second one, we followed the third structure where we use the subject, experienced, and adjective and a noun. So the sentence structure which I have taught you before, you need to follow it for writing your overview as well as for your body paragraphs. If you have not checked the video, go back to that video, check the different types of sentences which I have taught you, then it will be useful for you to write your graph. So I hope the overview and the introduction is clear for you. The introduction is 21 words, the overview is 32 words. So altogether it is 53 words. Now you have already finished 50 words in your introduction. The whole essay is for 150 words. So the remaining 100 words you can divide in two paragraphs, 50 and 50, and it's not very difficult to write 50 words describing a trend. Let's look at the introduction and overview together. Look at slide. You have a question here, you have a map, and you have the introduction and the overview. You can see how we made the changes to paraphrase the introduction, how we wrote the overview by looking at the map. You can play the video again and you can go back to the previous slides and you can check how the introduction and overview is written. Okay, let's continue. Now, we'll see now how to write the body paragraphs. Now, to write the body paragraphs, there are a few things which you need to keep in mind. The first thing is body paragraphs should describe the main patterns or trends and key features only. In the previous slide, you have seen the graph which is from 1974 to 2004. You need not write for each year, because the time allotted to you for this task is only 25 minutes and the number of words you are expected to write are only 150. If you write each and every year by describing each and every trend, first of all, it will take more time. Secondly, it will be more than 250 words. And thirdly, it is the wrong way of writing, because the examiner will see whether you understood the question or not. The question says summarize the key features. So you must summarize only the key features and not all the features in the graph. So remember, you are not going to describe each and every trend given in the graph, but you will select the important ones and you will describe only those. Another thing to keep in mind when you are writing the body paragraph is to use precise vocabulary to describe trends. I have already given you enough vocabulary to be used for writing the introduction, for the increasing trends, for the decreasing trends, similar trends, highest point, lowest point. If you haven't checked the video, you can go back and check it on my channel and use that vocabulary. Alternatively, you use the word. Do not use same word throughout your essay, because you will be given marks separately for the vocabulary also. And use linking expressions to make comparisons if necessary. You can use the discourse markers also in your writing to make your essay look more clear, logical, and presentable. Another point to remember here is the question asks only to summarize the information. So you just need to write what is given to you in the graph. You need not give any reasons why there is an increase in the consumption of fish, because fish is good for health, fish has so and so chemicals in that, and it gives us energy, it has protein, it has folate, phosphorate, things like that. No need to mention all that, because the graph is not asking you to give the reason for the change in trend. It's only asking you to summarize. You just need to see it and write what is happening or what has already happened. Okay? Now, no opinion. Don't give your opinion why you think that there is an increase in the demand or decrease in the demand. Only facts from the data which is given to you. If you keep these things in mind, you can write a very well drafted paragraph for your graph in the prescribed time. Now, let's move on and see. You need to follow 3 process steps given below to finish your graph essay. The first step is to analyze the general task and data. You need to look at the graph and analyze the graph. You have to see the movement of the data, whether it's going up or down or stable, the highest, the lowest and all. You need to find out what time scale is given. Is it months? Is it the years, the days or the hours? What is given there? And what is the unit of measurements given? Grams, millions, tons, thousands, hundreds. This information is very important, because when you write the sentences describing the trends, you need to write down, along with the title of the graph, the date and the units of measurement also. I'll show you where to find this information in the graph. Then you need to group the data. Identify the common trends and choose the main features. For example, the graph which we have checked just now, it has 2 different trends, fish and meat. The consumption of fish decreased, the consumption of meat increased. So 2 different trends, you can write them together in one paragraph, or one trend in one paragraph, another trend in another body paragraph you can write. If you have 3-line graph essay, in that case, you can write the similar trends in one paragraph and the different trend in another paragraph. Now, the last step is writing the essay using paraphrase words and data which you have collected from step 1 and step 2 to finish your essay. Let's look at how to analyze the graph. Now, here is a graph, and that's how you're going to analyze. The topic is usually given on the top of the graph. If it is not given, then read the question carefully and you will find out what this graph below shows. And that is your topic. Now for this graph, the topic is already given, consumption of fast food by Omani teenagers. That is the topic. The second thing you need to find out is what units are there to measure the consumption of fast food. Is it in hundreds, thousands, millions or grams? What? But here it is times per year. So 20 times per year, 40 times per year, 60 times per year, 80 times per year, 100 times per year. When you write the sentences, the complex sentences in your body paragraph, you will say consumption of fast food by Omani teenagers stood at 15 or around 15 times per year in 2014, like that. And when it increased, you can say it increased to 60 times per year. It declined to 40 times per year, like that. So writing the units of measurement is very important when you describe the main trends. Clear? Now let's move on to the third thing. The third thing you need to analyze in the graph is the keywords. Now here the keywords are KFC, pizza and chicken. The green line shows the consumption of KFC by Omani teenagers. The red line shows the consumption of pizza, whereas the blue one shows the consumption of chicken. You need to find out what each line indicates. In the previous graph, we have seen one line was for fish consumption, another for the meat. When you describe the trends, you need to know you are describing for which keyword you are describing this. Okay? After you find out the keywords, the next thing to analyze is the time scale. whether it is given in months January, February, March, April, May, June, July, or is it given like the days of the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or is it the time of the day like morning, afternoon, evening, night, midnight, or 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 p.m. like that, or the years. Now for this graph, years are given: 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So you can write down in 2014, in 2015, in 2016 when you write the sentence. The last thing is to find out the major key features. Now let's see how you will analyze the major key features and how you group the data. Look at the graph again. Look at the blue line. What does it show? Consumption of chicken by Omani teenagers. What happened to the consumption of chicken? It increased. From around 5, it increased to 100. Dramatic rise, right? Now, look at the line for KFC. It also increased. How much it was? Around 5. And what happened to it throughout over the years? It increased to 80. Again, there is a sharp increase in the consumption of chicken. Now there are two trends which are similar, which shows an increase. One shows a steady increase, another one shows a sharp increase. You can say a dramatic increase or a sharp increase also. Now look at the line for the pizza, the consumption of pizza. What does it shows? It declined. It was 100 in 2014, but when you look at it in 2019, it dropped to 40. So from 100 to 40, it gradually decreased over a period of time. So what happened with the three trends? Two of them are increasing, one is decreasing. So which trends are similar? KFC and chicken are similar, pizza is different. So you write introduction and overview in one paragraph. Body paragraph 2, you write KFC and chicken. And then body paragraph 3, you will write about pizza. That's how you group your data and write 3 different paragraphs. Now, in the body paragraph, this we already discussed that in the body paragraphs, you group the data, similar trends, opposing trends, and write down. What are the similar trends? KFC and chicken, both are increasing, started at between 0 to 20 times per year in 2014, and there was a sharp increase between 2016 to 18, and they finished at 80 and 100 times per year in 2019. When you look at the opposing trends, it is pizza, which shows a decreasing trend. It started at 100 in 2014, but it decreased from 2017 to 2019. And in 2019, it was 40 times per year. You can make a note like this in your rough side of the exam paper, and then you can begin writing. This will make it easy for you what information to be included. If you include these information, the information given here in the body paragraphs, you can easily write 50 and 50 words for both the paragraphs. Now, some important things to remember or some important phrases to remember when you start your body paragraph. The introduction, you start by writing the name of the graph, whereas the body paragraph, you start by writing any of these words according to the graph, as is shown in the graph, as is illustrated by the graph, as can be seen from the data. Any one you can use when you begin your graph essay. For the first paragraph, the similar trends you write in one paragraph, the opposite trend you write in another paragraph. So the next paragraph you can begin with on the other hand, on the contrary, in contrast. You can use those words and begin your second paragraph. So let's quickly have a look at a sample paragraph using the data which we have discussed just. Okay, here is a sample body paragraph. where we have grouped the similar items in the first paragraph and the opposing trend in the second paragraph. What are the similar trends? KFC and chicken. Look at the first sentence. We begin with the phrase according to the details. You can say according to the graph, according to the data, as per the data, any phrase you can use here. We have used according to the details. We first write about the first year, which was 2014, and then the title of the graph. What is the title? The consumption. And here we are grouping the similar items. What are the similar items here? KFC and chicken. They showed a similar trend. So we are writing them together by combining. The consumption of KFC and chicken stood the lowest at 5 and 10 times a year respectively. When we group the data together, to make it clear for the reader that 5 is for KFC and 10 is for chicken, we need to write the word respectively. Okay, when you combine the two keywords together and write the numbers for them together, to make it clear for the reader that the 5 is for KFC and 10 is for chicken, it is necessary to write the word respectively. Okay, if you have written like for, if you write the word KFC, chicken and KFC, then it should be 10 and 5 looking at the graph. Now then, but the numbers, what happened? Increased. How? Considerably. From how much? 20 and 60. Again, this 20 is for KFC, 60 is for chicken. Times a year to 90 and 30 times respectively between 2015 and 2016. Now, it is clear from the data that between 2016 and 18, the consumption of KFC and chicken experienced a sharp rise from 90 and 30 times a year to 180 times. By the end, both KFC and chicken remain stable at around 62 and 100 times respectively. Again, the 62 is for KFC, 100 is for chicken. Now, the time period given in the graph was 2014 to 2018, but we did not write for each year. If we write like that, it will be more number of words and it needs more time. Whereas we have only 25 minutes to spend on this task, so it's always advisable to combine the features and write them together. So here we have combined KFC and chicken, and we combine the years also. We showed important trends. So beginning and end is important. In between, we showed between 2015 to 16 and 16 to 18. That way we can group the data as easily and write a paragraph in a very good way. Now, I told you that when you are opting for option 2, where you write 3 paragraphs to describe the essay, the first paragraph will have introduction and overview together. The second paragraph, which is your body paragraph, will have the similar trends, and the third paragraph will have a different trend. KFC and chicken had similar trends, so we wrote them together in one paragraph. Pizza has a different trend, so we are writing it in another paragraph. On the other hand, pizza was eaten 100 times a year in 2014. However, there was a slight fall in the amount of pizza eaten from about 100 to 90 times a year between 2014 and 2016. Okay, the consumption of pizza dropped considerably from about 60 times to 40 times a year between 2017 and 2019. So we grouped the years together and we wrote about the consumption of pizza. Now this is how a body paragraph can be written. Overall, it is 150 words. I hope you find it easy. Let's look at this task. You can copy it, click the picture of it, and you can write the introduction and overview for it, or you can write the complete graph to practice. You can write the introduction and overview in the comment section also, so that others can also see and you can learn from each other and it can be checked. If I receive a lot in the comment section, then I'll make a separate video on highlighting the mistakes and how it can be improved. So I hope you like lesson and you understood it clearly. If you want any changes to be made in the way of explanation or anything, you can always write in the comment section, and I'll do my best to make it more easier for you. And if you think it is helpful in any way for you, please like and share it with your friends who might find it helpful as well. Thank you so much. See you in another lesson where we will learn how to write the discussion essay. Till then, bye bye. Take care.